Hi, I'm Dr. Bear, and this is my third session here on no-nonsense personal finance. This video is especially for those people who are in financial extremis. They're in a really bad place. This is cash flow management, and it's one of two pieces that you need to incorporate right away if you are in financial extremis. So there are three parts to cash flow management. I identify them as plan, monitor, and adjust. So it's a plan, monitor, adjust cycle. We're not going to go into great detail because I want you to have this overview of this concept. So let's first draw on an analogy. Now imagine that you and I are on a ship at sea and there's a destination that we would like to reach. What we first need to do is know where we are at and where we would like to go. Once we know those things, we can establish the course that we need to steer. So this is showing about northeast or 045. This is the planning part of our process. We need to know how we need to steer in order to get to our destination. So we can turn our ship to 045 or to the northeast, but you know very well that in the ocean there are currents that will push us off track. So as we drive along that course, the currents actually may push us so that we are not at this point, but rather here. If we continue to drive course 045, we will miss our destination. There's no scale here, but it's quite possible that we'll miss it far enough that we won't even see it when we drive by. If we're not aware that the current has pushed us, this can be disastrous. This points to the monitoring part of our process. We need to know whether we really are where we thought we were or where we wanted to be, because if we're not, then we can find a new course and we can make some adjustments. And of course, that's the adjust phase of our process. Our finances are the same way. In our financial life, it's a dynamic picture. Our finances are always changing. There are bills and expenses that keep coming our way, as well as unexpected expenses, such as a sickness or an unexpected doctor's visit or an injury, or someone else in your family has a need or a car breaks down. We need to continually monitor and adjust because of all these other forces. So let's go over how this works in budgeting. Plan, monitor, adjust. So the planning part is budgeting. To budget, we take a period of our financial life and we list all our income and all our expenses. This typically happens over a month because paychecks are either monthly or every other week, but bills often come on a monthly basis and a lot of other expenses come on a monthly basis. So it's good to work with a month at a time. And so you want to see in your budget that you have enough income to meet all those expenses. If you do, and your income is greater than your expenses, you have a surplus. And if you don't have enough money to cover all the expenses, well, you're in a deficit. Now, if you're in a deficit position, it's not good. But the thing is, you can change the plan, and that's good. So that's the budgeting part of things. The monitoring part means that we actually list all of our expenses for the month and we list our actual income. And here we see whether I'm really on track financially. Do I have a surplus? We'll call that a positive cash flow because you have more cash coming in than you have going out. If you don't, this is really bad. This is something that we have to fix right away because if you have a negative cash flow, your deficit spending, that's not sustainable. Even if you have a lot of money in the bank, that's eventually going to dwindle away. You want to compare your actual cash flow to your budget, and this is the point now where we need to make some adjustments. So if we spend more or less in a certain category of budget, then we have to decide, well, why is that? Do I need to change that? Do I need to allot more money for that category, or do I need to decrease my expenses? If you're in that place where you have an actual spending deficit, well, the easiest thing is to first reduce your expenses. Eliminate luxuries, dining out, going to movies, non-essentials. If you, for example, if you pay for cable and internet and telephone, maybe you can actually get by cutting out the cable. You know, you can get a lot of entertainment value still from the internet without having cable. It's expensive. Look at how you spend money and whittle away at everything that you can possibly whittle away. Another thing you can do, maybe more challenging than reducing your expenses, is to increase your income. Go get a second job. I know it doesn't sound like fun, but it doesn't have to be forever. Maybe it's long enough for you to pay off some debt. Because once you pay off some debt, the beauty of that is you open up income that's not allocated to that debt and you have more disposable income you can work with. Have a yard sale. Get creative. sell things. Cash flow adjustments, they're up to you, but you really can get creative with this. There are a lot of online resources that can help you budget and track your money. I know Mint and EveryDollar and Quicken are free. I think you can get a free account with all of these, and then you can get an app and it'll help you track your expenses. I know on EveryDollar you can even pay for service, and I think they'll allow you to import bank statements, or you can make your own spreadsheets. That's what I do. I use Microsoft Excel, but there are free alternatives like OpenOffice or Google Documents. Briefly, I mentioned misconception. I've heard people say that they don't have enough money so that they can budget and monitor. My response is this. Basically, if your money is tight and you're not budgeting and monitoring, you're driving with the blindfold on. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how you're going to get there. You don't know how you're spending exactly, so how can you adjust it to make good decisions about how your money should work for you? In reality, not budgeting or tracking your money exacerbates the problem. So I'd encourage you, if that's you, take the blindfold off. This will help you start making informed choices about how you earn and spend your money. And I'd say don't let your lack of money make the choices for you. You take control so you can make the choices. Finally, these are the parts of cash flow management. Plan, you make a budget. You monitor by tracking your actual expenses, and then you adjust. Adjusting is important because imagine if we're on that ship and we know the current's pushed us so that our formerly valid course no longer gets us to the place we wanted to go. And I'm steering and I refuse to turn the wheel. You're going to tell me, man, you're an idiot. This is going to end in disaster for all of us. So I just need to make a little bit of an adjustment and things will get better. And that's what this cycle is about. You plan, monitor, and then you adjust. And then repeat that every month. This is not something you can do just once. You have to keep doing it because our financial situation is dynamic. Finally, I'll just say again, if you're in financial extremis, there are two keys. One is cash flow management. The second is that you need an emergency fund of about $500 or $1,000 to cover those expenses. Having a cash flow plan is going to help you get there because you can cut out non-essentials and maybe get there faster, but you need that emergency fund in place quickly. Do it aggressively. You need to hustle and maybe get this in place in 1 week if possible, or 2 weeks, but no more than a month. You have to have that emergency fund, or else those unexpected expenses are going to come and eat you alive. You're going to be late on bills, and then you're going to have late charges, and it's just going to be an ugly downward spiral. So get that emergency fund and start managing your cash flow so that you can take control of your cash and you're not controlled by your financial situation. Finally, I encourage you, get knowledge. Knowledge transforms our perspective. Our perspective influences our actions, and our actions impact our lives. So it begins with knowledge. Get that knowledge and you can do powerful things. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative. Please like my video, like my channel, share it. Have a great day.